I have not been live in a while. It is day one of sweepstakes season, so I thought I would come on here and answer all your questions on how to avoid Instagram jail, how to maximize your entries, and how to make it through sweepstakes season. Because if you don't know what sweepstakes season is, you are in for a surprise. It's when every company that you can possibly think of starts hosting giveaways. 12 days of giveaways, 24 days of giveaways, 31 days of giveaways. They're also known as Advent Calendar Sweepstakes. Now, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll answer them directly. But it is sweepstakes season. Oh, I just noticed that my little tab there, I'm going to change it to what the chat is too. Sweepstakes season. Day one. It is day one of a marathon. It is not a sprint. It is a marathon because it's very, very, very easy to get sucked into the social media sweepstakes. And your key focus should be the regular entry sweepstakes, not the social media ones. And then add those ones in. So we have a question. Hey, I didn't win anything, but I don't even know how to. Well, that is you came to the right place. My name's Carolyn, and I'm known as the Contest Queen. And I've helped others win millions of dollars in cash and prizes. And I can teach you how to be a winner too. So let's begin. The first thing you're going to do is set up an email address just for entering sweepstakes. Okay? The second thing you're going to do is use a sweepstakes aggregate. Now, you want to start off with something free, like Sweepstakes Fanatics or Sweepstakes Today. However, especially during this time of year, you may want to invest in your hobby right off the get-go and sign up for like a 3-month subscription of I Win contests. Because Tom specializes in best odds sweepstakes and giveaways. And his newsletters, they send them out once a week, are full of information. Plus, he has a Discord group. And then the third thing you're going to want to do is always read the rules. In sweepstakes season, I'm going to add a fourth tip, which is always enter social media sweepstakes last. It's very tempting to get on Instagram and just start scrolling and entering every giveaway you can find. You will spend so much time entering those kind of giveaways where you can enter, I'm going to air quote them here, regular sweepstakes, and your odds of winning the other ones are better. The key is to maximize your time. Now, during the regular part of the year, you should only be spending an hour, maybe 2, entering sweepstakes. That's it, just 1 hour. And another key is to be organized, but we'll get to that later. However, with sweepstakes season, it's easy to go 2, 3, 4. And, of course, everything is exponential. You are busier at this time of year. There's family gatherings, there's shopping, there's, events, things like that. And now to squeeze in extra time for entering when some people have a hard time during their regular schedule. So it's really important to maximize your time entering and to enter for what you really want to win. You got to be selective, right? Because there's an old saying that I created. It takes just as much time to win movie passes as it does a car. It's the same amount of time and effort. So why waste it trying to win movie passes first? So how I organize my sweepstakes is I enter what I call one day or instant wins right now. So if a sweepstakes has an instant win component, like I could enter and I could, boom, win right now, those go in that folder. And then if it is a daily, like they're going to be doing at this time of year, so this folder gets very big. If they have a prize a day or they're giving away something every day, I put them in that folder because I have to come back every day because it closes at the end of the day. There's no more chances. If I miss a day, I'm out for that day. So those are the ones that I can win right now. Then I have a list called my top 10, even though there's way more than 10 in it. But top 10 indicates that it's the things with the biggest prizes that I want to win. So for me, it's always trips. Give me a good trip or some big cash, I'm in. Now, for example, say your dream is to redo your kitchen. In that folder, then you would put any cash giveaways, anything for kitchen appliances, anything for reno places, anything for gift cards to like Home Depot, like you get the picture. One of the keys is to make the hobby your own. So you have to enter for what you want. So my top 10 is like trips and cash. Your top 10 might be totally something else, but the ones that if you only have a half hour to enter today, those are the ones that you're going to get to. Then it's the daily folder, and it's all the other stuff. Small gift cards, movie passes, concert tickets, all the piddly stuff that if you miss a day, it's not the end of the world. And remember, it does only take one to win. Scroll back in my feed and you'll see that I won an Xbox with one entry. So it really does only take one to win. Hang on, I had my little laptop here open. I think it's giving it was bluing on my glasses there. And you, so you want to get organized. Now, to start learning the hobby during sweepstakes season is a little bit crazy, and I do call this hobby the good crazies for good reason. However, if you're wanting to jump in with both feet, go right ahead, because you never know. You could win something fantastic, and I think it's great. And like, for example, I was at Starbucks. I got my free shake today because Sweepstakes, Starbucks is doing their Starbucks for Life contest so I enter that one on my phone. That's the other thing too. There's a bunch that are mobile driven that work better on your phone than they do on a computer. So I just keep all those open in tabs, and I just go through every day and I just enter them. Usually in the morning when I'm having my coffee. And that's how I do those ones. Now, if you have any more questions about winning sweepstakes, I'll answer them. Otherwise, I'll talk about the hobby. And I actually came out here to kill two birds with one stone. I am also, like, if you know, my best-selling book is Helen Hadsell's The Name It and Claim It game. And she was friends with Jose Silva. And I'm in the process of becoming a Silva instructor. So these are all my Silva notes that I photocopied because I don't want to write, and I printed out because I don't want to write in the original manuals that they gave us for the course. That just feels wrong to me. That I'm gonna, write in these beautiful books. So I copied everything into the binder. So now I have the copies, and I've got my things here. And I'm just going to start 3-hole punching, because this part is living in the field, the science of the field. It's very interesting. This is by, I have no idea who this is by. It's just part of the course. I'm taking it. Anyway, and actually that is a little bit of what I'm teaching, because you have to think you're a winner before you are. So when you're thinking, I don't ever win, I want you to change that to, I wonder what is the first sweepstakes prize I'm going to win. Oh, I put too much in here. Yeah, that's my life. So, yeah, this sweepstakes is the best hobby. I actually should be entering right now, but I thought I really need to get this out of the living room. And I haven't done a live in a while on how to win sweepstakes contests and giveaways. The other thing I'm doing is I'm slowly translating my books into different languages. I've already started Spanish. I already have 2 Audible. And I'm working on my latest sweepstakes book called Prizes Everywhere. So it's an update. And the one thing it's actually going to have is how to win on TikTok. So I'll even talk about that right now. So the sweepstakes on TikTok are most of the time just like Instagram. Occasionally you'll have to create a video, but most of the time you just do the exact same thing as you would on Instagram, which is follow the account, like the video, and tag some sweepstakes friends. So if you want to enter a TikTok giveaway, you can just tag me, the contest queen. Actually, I'm just contest queen on, it's kind of weird. So on Facebook and Instagram, because I was late to the game getting Instagram, I'm the contest queen. And on X and TikTok and YouTube, I'm just contest queen. There's no the in front of it. And I just released on YouTube, I did an hour-long sweepstakes Q&A preparing for the season. I did it on Monday. Now, what was interesting is when I first started entering sweepstakes, December 1st was definitely the start of sweepstakes season. But what we have noticed over the years, and when I say we, I mean the sweepstakes community at large, we've noticed that sweepstakes are starting earlier and earlier and earlier, to the point where I was scrolling the other day and I saw one and it said, "Hey, we've come to the end of our daily giveaways." I'm like, it's not even mid-November. How could you be finished? Like, it was before Thanksgiving, the American Thanksgiving, because we have people from all over the world here. So it was the American Thanksgiving, and they had finished their giveaways before Thanksgiving even started. And I think companies are doing that because they know so many people like to participate that they don't want to get lost in the December shuffle. So they're doing it in November. So it's almost now from, like, I don't know, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Did you ever communicate with Helen from the other side? You know what? No, I am not psychic. I wish I was like Helen, because I just finished recording her In Contact with Other Realms. It literally hasn't even been a week. It's been on Audible less than a week. And so she saw into the fourth dimension and could talk to her messengers. I'm way too grounded for that. However, I do have a friend that has heard from her just once or twice. Like when I first bought the rights to her books and I was contemplating finishing one of mine, she said, "I think Helen's really funny." I said, "Why?" She goes, "All I heard in my head was, my book's first, my book's first." So now they're all done and now they're being translated. So I'm pretty sure she's happy with that. So I've started. So we have Spanish, and I've just ordered her second book in Spanish. So I have a translator, and then I have an editor. Yeah, that sounds like her. It totally sounds like her. And what's really funny is she's like a bit like a fisherman who tells a story, and every time she tells it, it gets better. So if you've read In Contact with Other Realms, you know the story about how she saw the messenger the second time. Well, I published the Name It and Claim It game. I included extra articles and things. Then, after it was published, I managed to get a first edition. I never owned one. And there was a chapter in there that wasn't in any of the other 4 editions that I had. And I was like, oh no, now what do I do? So I read it, and I realized why her and Tag took it out of the book. So, so if you have all of her books and you love them, okay, so you know how in the second book, the In Contact with Other Realms, when she is writing the Name It and Claim It game, she sees the messenger. It's actually in the chapter called The Messenger. So in the very first in Name It and Claim It game, there was a chapter called Other Worlds. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember. And I thought, oh no. And I started reading it, and it was about her losing weight, which doesn't have anything to do with the contest. And then it's the messenger chapter. Now, I thought, I'm not going to put it back in the Name It and Claim It game because that's just silly. So what I chose to do was publish it as a separate PDF that you can just go download and read. So if you go to my Words for Winning website, find the blog post. It's right on the homepage. It's called The Missing Chapter, and you can download it as a PDF and read it. And it's really funny because that story isn't the same as a story that she put in Contact with Other Realms. The one in Contact with the Other Realms is a little more embellished. And I know this because I have the painting. And it's the first story, not the second story. Because in the first story, she gets paint. And in the second story, she takes paint and colors it herself. Because she's so frantic to make this painting. She's so funny. And when I look at the painting, I know it's all paint. She did not self-color these. She did not self-color it. It's paint from the paint store. It's the first story. So I love her to bits. But, I talked to Dyke about it, and he said, oh, that's Mother. 90% truth, 10% exaggeration. And I did have someone that said, oh, she has a bit of hustle energy. I go, yeah, she had hustle energy, that's for sure. Oh my God, you're so funny. Yeah, right? And actually, if you go to my Words for Winning website, so the problem with my stuff with Helen was the Name It and Claim It game is the only book that fits with Contest Queen. Because it's half contest, half mindset, winning mindset, right? But all the other books that I have, all of the other books she wrote, and all of the books that I got from her second publisher, so I ended up meeting her second publisher, who was also friends with Jose Silva. His name was Tag Powell. So if you have any early editions of the Name It and Claim It game, you will see the second editions are published by Top of the Mountain Publishing, which was Tag Powell's company. And I found him because I had a problem with the Name It and Claim It game in Amazon, and I wanted to make sure that there was no copyright issues. So I started contacting all her previous publishers to get the rights, make sure. And then I met him, and it turns out he was near the end of his life because he had COPD and he'd had a stroke, and he didn't know how much time he had left, and it turned out he was an author in his own right. So right away I said, who's republishing your books? He said, no one. I said, can I buy the rights to those and get them out there? And I had sent him what I did with Helen's books, and he was blown away because you got to remember, he was publishing in the 70s and 80s and the early 90s, and publishing now is, it's like night and day. So yeah, so if you go to, so what I'm doing is last year I went to her house and got some of the remains of her business files. So I'm slowly copying things and putting out articles. So if you go to Words for Winning, you can read, I'm putting out blog posts with things. So you can read the missing chapter. And I also have a missing part of a missing course that she did. The audio is super rough. And someone even said, why don't you take it to an audio producer and have it fixed? And I'm like, I did, and this is the fixed version. So what happened is I put it out on YouTube, and I think YouTube compresses the files. So just in case you can't hear it very well on the video, I put the audio there for you just to listen to. You can just listen to it. And it took me a while because I put it in my tape player, and it didn't even sound like Helen. I thought, is this even Helen? And it turns out it was. So yeah, it was a really rough tape. And then when he was finished with it, this is how rough this tape was. It snapped. And thankfully he had already downloaded it. So we have it, but it's as good as it's going to get. There ain't getting any better. But I have some other ones, and he had another one. He messaged me, and he goes, hey, I got another one, but it was also really bad. I spent quite a bit of money for his cleanup time, but it was worth it. I haven't heard it yet. I got to get to his house and pick it up. And so that's really interesting. Anyway, I should be talking about sweepstakes season. Because what's really interesting is I don't think Helen had sweepstakes seasons when she was entering sweepstakes, because the hobby is completely different. Like when Helene Hadsell was entering sweepstakes, it was in person, radio, and mail in. So in person was fairly common because it was a tool that companies used in a lot of grocery stores. I remember I kind of came at the tail end of this, where you'd go into a retail chain and every store would have like a giveaway. Like they'd be giving a bicycle away at every shop. She wrote about this in the Name It and Claim It game, where her and her friend went around to all the grocery stores. But I think it was much more common than it is now, where they have it, you know, like a chain of stores, and you go around to all the locations and you can enter, and radio stations would do remotes and things like that. And then for her, the radio giveaways, you had to phone in, and then of course everything else was mail in. So she used to be a member of Contest Newsletter. Well, what's really interesting is if you go to Contest Queen on YouTube, I have 3 television shows and 3 television shows, and one of them is sponsored by Contest Newsletter. Now, Contest Newsletter doesn't exist anymore. I believe it was bought out by Sweepsheet, which still exists, and I have interviews with Christy, who currently owns Sweepsheet. It was with Sandy Gulliver, who wrote the foreword to my first sweepstakes book, and then, well, technically my second, because I did a Canadian version, an American version, then a combined version. So she wrote the foreword for that. And then it was sold to Patty and Kurt Osterheld, and she ran it for years, and I loved Patty. We actually had the same birthday. I think we were only a year apart on the same day. And she suddenly passed away. She had an accident, and then they did a surgery, and something happened, and she passed away. And it was very shocking. Anyway, her best friend ended up taking over Sweepsheet. And so I had some interviews with Christy, and it was really nice. At the last sweepstakes convention I attended, they did a really nice tribute to her. And it was like, yeah, it was all tears and the whole thing. So I saw your question, so hang on. I just wanted to talk about that. Anyway, so I think that's what happened to Contest Newsletter. And then, so there was the mail-ins. But I don't think companies did like all these daily giveaways because it wasn't possible. The technology today allows it. So do you think she did not play the lotto? Okay, so there's a whole thing on this. So if you go to my words for winning, I have all the videos and I have the articles on the lottery and her intention. You have to, oh no, don't be sorry. I'm just trying to make sure I cover everything because I can talk. Chatty Cathy here. So she didn't play the lotto because Texas didn't have a state lottery until 1992, and she won everything she wanted in the 60s and 70s. So she was, 20 years before the lottery. And then she wrote some articles on it. So if you read the Name It and Claim It game, which you said you have all her books, there is a blurb in there on the lottery. And she even says, I never had a chance to play it. Then she would be going around teaching. She was on the lecture circuit, and so she was teaching, and she had people asking about the lottery, of course, because it's the easiest one in the sense of it just gives you the big cash, right? They wanted to win the lottery, and so she did an experiment in her class, and one woman at lunch took the numbers that they all discussed and went and bought a lottery ticket and won $25,000. She missed the grand prize by, I think, one number. But she won $25,000. And then the third article is, I think Helene, the older she got, the less of a filter she had. And I think it was written in her 80s. Like, she died at 86. I think this was written, like, the year that she passed away or the year before. And it said, she was basically like, get over it. Because she's like, people want to know how to win the lottery, and she's like, get over it. It's really snarky. If you love Helene, you have to go read that blog post. So I did it in 3 parts because it would be too much for one. So the first blog post is talking about her, the excerpt from the book, and then I had a video. And then the second part is the second article she wrote about the class. And the third article, which I'm just going to go let you experience for yourself, is her snarky reply at the end of her life, like, I'm so tired of people asking me how to win the lottery. Here's your answer. The filter thing might be because she was a Gemini. Oh, totally. Totally. Now, what's funny is, see, I don't think that's an accident. I am a Gemini rising. So here's why I think she actually asked me to maintain her work, because there's a couple things I have that she didn't. She was not technically savvy at all, and Dyke was a computer whiz, and so he said he would always be over there trying to fix something or other that she had done. And so I think she saw how technology was going, because she was highly intuitive and knew that I had that skill set. Like, so I don't see into the fourth dimension, but I can do things on Word and get her stuff out like Audible that she never could in a million years. Also, social was just starting to come into play. I think Facebook had just launched. Twitter, I think I was on Twitter I think Twitter was out that year, because I didn't get on it till 2009, and I was kicking myself because I should have been on in 2008. I am a late adopter, and I was late to TikTok too. And she was a show off. I could only imagine. Can you imagine her? She would have totally had a YouTube channel. And actually, I think YouTube may have been out. I got to look up the dates. But I could just see her. Could you imagine her on TikTok? Holy cow. She would have crushed TikTok. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because she was out there. The stories, oh my God. Yeah, so I think she knew that I could do it. But also the other thing too is, because I had already written books, so I knew how to do books. I was an entrepreneur. I already had my own business. And the other thing was I was a contester. Like, I was a sweeper and a contester, and I had written sweepstakes books. So I understood the hobby. Do you know if she had any rituals, or she was superstitious? I don't know about superstitious. I do know that she liked there was a book about biofeedback. I have it. If you read the recommended reading session, let me try that again. The recommended reading session in the back of the books, I can't remember if it's In Contact with Other Realms or Confessions of an 83-Year-Old Sage, but there's a book about biofeedback and how she learned about warming her hands, and she always had 2 heating pads on. She had like a lazy boy, and she had a heating pad on each arm, and she would sit and warm her hands. And she'd read that in the book, and she thought, oh, I knew that intuitively. I knew that intuitively, so she was, and I recommended that book, and I did find it in her library. I haven't read it. And I did find her crystals, and I do have her crystal ball. I asked about her tarot cards, but Dyke thinks she left them in Peru. Oh, well. I saw that book on your YouTube live. I have it on my Amazon wish list. Yeah, I have a bunch. I just don't have time to read them all. And then when I do read, at the end of a day, I don't want to read anything more. You know, I'm already studying Silva, and I'm doing this and that. So I don't want to read any more of that stuff. So I'm reading Cozy Murder Mysteries right now. I'll give Ginny Alexander a shout out, because they're so cute and not expensive and well written. I'm really picky. And I met her, believe it or not, I took an Amazon ads course, because, you know, we got to work. And she had shared her cover. She asked something in the group, and she posted her cover, and I went, oh, that's a great cover. Like, good cover art is hard to come by as an author. And so I went and looked up her book, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. So I friended her on Facebook, and I guess she's not such a big author that she wouldn't friend me back. And And I guess also she knew me from the group. And then I bought her book, and I think it's called A Diet of Death. Yeah, the first one's called A Diet of Death, and the second one is, oh, what is it? It's something about a trout, maybe. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. My Kindle's in my by the bed. So I was going on a vacation. We went to a wedding in Mexico, hence the slightly the fading tan. Oh, it was so nice. And the so I finished the first book while I was there, but I didn't start the second one. But it was so good. It was so much longer. Like, I think it'd be a pretty thick book if it was like printed, and it was quite good. So I'm gonna give her a shout out, and go find out. And it's Ginny. She's Irish, so she has a lot of British, UK slang and things. It's very fun. I know, I'm totally off topic. So back to sweepstakes. So when Helen, I'm feeling like Billy Connolly. I don't know if you've ever seen him live on stage. He'll go off on this tangent and then come all the way back around and start again. He's a brilliant speaker and storyteller. So in Helen's day, I don't see how they might have had Christmas giveaways, like starting December 1st, mail in your entries for the month of December and you can win in January. But they wouldn't have daily giveaways because it would be impossible to manage back in those days. Like maybe the radio station could do it, where, caller 12 each day qualifies for a prize and then they draw from those people. That's the only way I could think it would go. And then in person, I don't see it either. But now we have, in person is really dropped, especially after the pandemic. Nobody wants to do anything in person. Radio has changed. Radio is interesting because radio still has the call-in part. But what's been added is the, you can go into the radio station website. Then they have a couple other kinds of giveaways. You have the call-in part where you phone in to win. You can, sometimes they'll have register and then listen at certain times. And if you hear your name, you have 10 minutes to call in and claim your prize. Or they'll have a thing where they'll say, listen 5 times a day for the keyword, text in, if we call you back, you win. So they're doing different types of giveaways. Then sometimes they have a straight up regular giveaway on their website, like enter this form and you're in to win a prize on our radio station. And if you go through some of my unboxings that I have on TikTok, I tend to put them more on TikTok. I do have them as shorts on YouTube and sometimes reels. If they're under, I try and keep them under a minute, but it's hard sometimes. I call them unboxings, even though I'm not really unboxing anything because it's a non-physical prize. We go to concerts, we go to shows, we just went on last Friday, actually. We went to see Terry Clark and Paul Brandt. I had won those tickets from Monster Energy drink. We had won tickets to any show we wanted. They gave us a list. I really wanted to go see the boss, but we were in Mexico for the wedding. Oh well. So Paul Brandt and Terry Clark it was. It was still a good show. It's just not the boss. And so that's what's changed about radio stations. So go to all your local radio stations. Like I have a list in a folder that I check weekly of all my local radio stations to see what giveaways they're doing and what I should be listening for or calling in for or texting in for. I don't think Helen had that luxury. I don't think they were, that way back then. Then the other thing is, then we had mail-in. Mail-in has almost disappeared, or they seem to be part of a purchase entry. So if there's a company that does purchase-based sweepstakes, so for example, Buy our, there was one I saw in the grocery store today, and I checked it out. I'm like, oh, I'd already entered that. Buy any one of these products and send in the receipt, and you have a chance to win instantly. And they're giving away 100 of them, switches, and you have a chance to win those. But by law, there has to be a no purchase entry. So they're known as AMOEs, alternative method of entries, or NPEs, which is no purchase entry. They have to have that by law. And so then sometimes, depending, you'll buy the product. So for example, there's one for chocolate bars where you buy where I am. And again, you have to read the rules to make sure you're eligible. So there's one with 2 chocolate bars right now. If you buy 2 chocolate bars, you're in to win. Now, postage where I live is $1 plus tax. Chocolate bars are only 87 cents, so I'm buying 2 of them. It's a little more than the postage, but by the time I add on the envelope, the paper, the stamp, my time, the post office, everything, it's going to be the same. So this way, it just makes more sense for me to go to the dollar store, buy 2 chocolate bars, and send in the receipt and have a chance to win, than it is to do the no purchase entry option, because it's technically cheaper to buy the product. However, when it's more expensive, like a case of beer, beer where I live is extremely expensive. And then I take advantage of the no purchase entry option, because why wouldn't I? Oops, finished. So why wouldn't I take advantage of the no purchase entry option at that point, right? So that's what you have to do. You have to weigh the cost of the product and the cost of your time against the cost of mailing in and the value of the prize. Now, there are some that I've seen that you email in that opportunity. And one of the things some people have been doing, and I've been testing it out, is I've been using ChatGPT to write the essays. I give it a bunch of prompts, and I have it write an essay. And then if it has to be handwritten, then I just copy it out onto the paper. And if not, I just cut and paste it into the email. So you can play around with it. But it's a good idea. I always usually use Word for that because it gives me an exact word count, and then I copy it out. So, but mail-ins have virtually disappeared. They're not really away. Then there's online. And online, I almost have to divide into 2 categories, online and social media, because social media has become so big, it's really its own category. So online, you want to use a site like, there's tons of them. I have them on my site, but like I Win Contest, Sweep Sheet, Contest Girl, Sweepstakes Advantage, Sweetie Sweeps, who did I forget? I said I Win Contest. Anyway, there's Sweepstakes Fanatic, Sweepstakes Today. There's so many of them. Sweepstakes Bible. I do radio every day. So do you have a group or listing of sweepstakes, or is there a great site? It depends on also where you live. Like in Canada, contestcanada.net is popular. So is Contest Girl. Best Contest Newsletter. I thought he was retiring. What's his name? I haven't talked to him in a long time. I met him in the Michigan in the Minneapolis that's right. When the 2010, it's been 13 years since I met him. When the annual National Sweepstakes Convention was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's online only now. Oh my God, I haven't talked to him in forever. I have to do it. I got so behind on my book, I now have to recontact everybody I contacted to see what they're up to. Am I really all out of this one too? I thought I had 2 boxes of this stuff. That's not good. Oh well, I guess I'll have to finish this job later. Anyway, yeah. So Nick, I met him there and we hung out for a while. Oh my God, it was so fun. But see, that's the other thing. Technology has advanced so much. Now, had I had that chance, I would, do a live stream with him and hang out instead of just hanging out in his room. Like there was a bunch of us. I can't remember. There must have been 10 of us hanging out and just having snacks and talking, and it was so fun. It can be overwhelming to know where to start. That's why if you go to my contestqueen.com website, I have 5 steps to begin winning, and I have tons of blogs. Now, we've been cleaning up the site over the course of the year, and I've been adding things in and taking stuff off. And we've been trying to fix it up. My goal had been to redo it this fall, but instead I published 3 books like a crazy person. But I really want to get it updated for next year because she's 8 years old. She'll be 9 years old. That's ancient. In the, I just did all this and now I have to move it all back. I'll just stick this stuff in later. This is more of my Silva stuff. So, what do I have left? Oh, I do have 1 certificate. So I did take the training. I'm very proud of this. The Silva method. So this is, I'm certified and I can go to any course and take it again. And actually, there's a man in the States. His name is Ken Costa, I believe it's pronounced. And he actually trained with Jose. And maybe next year I'll have it in my schedule and I can go and hang out with him. So that would be very cool. I should message him. I was supposed to message him a while ago. I've been a little bit busy. Anyway, so 5 steps to begin winning is on my website. I have tons of blogs. And I also have, if you sign up for my newsletter, I do, you get a little free sweepstakes starter kit, which I want to update. Not the information. The information is great. It's just not really branded very well. I did it myself in Canva. I really need my webmaster to make it. So when we give the site a refresh, we're going to do all the banners, the logo, everything's going to get redone. It's going to be better. It's funny how you say it's overwhelming to know where to start. It's funny because I've been doing this for so long and it's changed so much over the years that sometimes you take it for granted what you're doing because you're so used to what you're doing. Does that make sense? And also, I kind of grew up with the hobby. So when I started, there wasn't text in, there wasn't social, there was still the end of the mail in, there was still like some in store. So I kind of grew my hobby as it shifted. So it was easy for me to kind of port over. And the other thing is that my number 1 tool for it is RoboForm. When did you start sweeping? 2001. And my first book came out in 2006 and my second book came out in 2008. Then I did 2016. Then I started on my next one, Prizes Everywhere. And then I got sidetracked with Helene's book. So I started that one in 2019. Then I got sidetracked with Helene's book. And then the pandemic happened and I didn't feel like doing anything. Because actually, for a while, like Sweepstakes, you'd go to some sites and the pages would be blank. Like the Sweepstakes would just literally disappear. Or they would say, we can't give you the prize, we'll just give you the cash. Or something. I'm sure you've said it before, but where are some of my bigger wins? Oh, I'll tell you, they're fun. So it was horrible and I didn't feel like entering at all. And I just focused on Helene's books. And then it kept getting longer and longer. And I kept saying, I got to get back to the other book. But then I got Tag's books and I'm like, I kept putting it off, but I really need to finish it. So it's almost like I have to start again. But I need to, and I was going to start it today and I didn't. Things happened. But my biggest wins, have been, the biggest ones are always trips. So the biggest one I had was a trip to the Olympics for 4 people in 2010. My favorite trip was when we got to go to the set of Harry Potter, but I like all the trips. Like, we've been to Europe, I've been to Florida, I went to California, I went to California twice. I went a trip to Rimouski, Quebec, because we went to the Memorial Cup. We won a tour around Europe. We won, where else have we gone? Oh, Universal, like, I have a list. So I had somebody, one time I did a TikTok and I said, I won all these trips. And someone goes, you're lying. You've never won that many trips. And so I thought, how many trips have I won? So I started making a list of the year and the trip, right? So I started going through, and then I did a response video back and I go, you're right. I have not won that many trips. I've won more. And here's the list. I had actually won more because it was some I'd forgotten about. And now I'm up, because I think when I did that video, I only had 20 trips and I've won 4 more since. Last year was an epic year because I spent a lot more time entering. And I had won 2 trips. I won a ton of stuff all year long, but I won 2 trips and a 100-inch TV that's so big we couldn't even fit it in the house. So big. So it's in the garage. It's crazy big. So that was an epic year. And that TV was expensive too. It's right up there. It was thousands. That was like and then I wanted to hide it in the house and give it to George for Christmas. The box was 100 pounds and it was so big. My girlfriend and I, the guy dropped it at the back. We couldn't get it in the house. I was going to hide it in the guest room in the basement. We couldn't, it was so big, we couldn't get it. So we took it to the garage and didn't have any markings on it, thank God. And we put it in the garage. And George was like, what's that box? I couldn't find a tarp, nothing to hide. Thought that would have made a difference. He goes, what's a box? I'm like, nothing. And then finally he's like, I'm going to win. Do you win more daily entry or single entry? I think I win more on single entry. So what my favorites are is I do well with all the locals, as there's less people entering, local radio stations. I like PIN codes. So if you go to my website and type in PIN, P-I-N, and then C-O-D-E, I have a bunch of articles about PIN codes and how I win on PIN codes. And go and watch. You can see some of my unboxings with things that I have won with PIN codes. Actually, I had one. There's a video called something about a clean sweep, and they changed it, so I haven't been able to do it. But 1 year you could win as many instances as you want. Now they've limited it. And they had like 10 different prizes or like 8 different prizes. And I won all of them except the one of the weekly grand prizes. And if I'd won that, it would have been what I call a clean sweep. So that's a really interesting video, and I show all the prizes. And those were all won with PIN codes. What else? There was one last year that one of the ones I won a trip from, it was supposed to be a QR code contest. And then were you supposed to enter a code and then try to see if you won? Anyway, something happened and it didn't work. And everybody had to use the AMOE link to enter because the sweepstakes didn't work. They didn't set it up properly. I can't even imagine. Have you noticed since pandemic winning not as often as previous? Not for me. So last year when I was entering regularly, I had a kick butt year. Like I said, 2 trips and 100-inch TV. This year, I've hardly been entering For someone that's been hardly entering, I've been doing okay. But I wouldn't say it's a great year for winning. But I did publish 4 books so far. I published a print book, A Man Called Friday, an Audible book, The Name It and Claim It Game, or A Man Called Friday. It came out in Kindle and paperback, so you have to do the editing for both. But it's still, you're writing it once, but you're editing twice. And then the Audible for The Name It and Claim It Game. And then the Spanish edition of The Name It and Claim It Game, which took a translator, an editor, and then another layout because the Spanish is longer than the English. So that was a re-edit of the book. And then the Audible of The Name It and Claim It Game, or In Contact with Other Realms. And I'm working on prizes. So I've done 4 this year. Normally I publish a book a year or every 2 years. So you can see why I haven't won as much with sweepstakes, because I've hardly had any chance to enter. But again, that's one of the reasons you need to focus on best odds sweepstakes. I don't know where you're finding your giveaways, but I'm going to recommend you go follow Tom Cavalli at I Win Contests. He had a slow beginning to the year, but in the second half of the year, he won 5 trips. So, and again, it depends on where you live. Like, I'm in Canada and he's in the U.S. And so in the U.S., there's so many more sweepstakes to enter, like a gazillion more. He keeps telling me when I'm going to come move. Which sweepstakes do you steer away from? Basically anything I don't want to win. Like when my daughter was a baby, I would enter all the kiddie sweepstakes. Sweepstakes Advantage. Yes, you may want to invest in your hobby and go to Sweepstakes Plus. If you want, because if you go to my YouTube channel, you can watch my interview with Ken Carlos. I have 2 of them, and it was such a long gap in between interviews. I'm like, how have I not had you on this show in this long? I'm sitting in the living room. I don't know. There was a car that went by. So you might want to go watch my interview with Ken, because he's really interesting. And, did you see they were on TikTok? And they're having a TikTok giveaway for a laptop. Go follow Sweepstakes Advantage on TikTok. Is there any sketchy companies you would avoid? No, here's the problem. Off the top of my head, no. But here's one of the things you should do is read the rules. Okay, so first, set up an email address just for entering sweepstakes. Second of all, you can kind of tell, like when I'm getting emails in my business email saying I won something, I can tell, and they're not the same. Like when you get notified you've won an actual sweepstakes, it looks like a normal email that you have typed up notifying somebody of something with an attachment of the release forms that you have to sign and send back. It's not like these robotic things where you can, from some sketchy thing. And you've remembered entering, it'll have the so for one of the trip ones, I won from Coca-Cola, and the heading was like, something, congratulations, something Coca-Cola, but you're like, I've been entering from Coke, click, open it up. Hi, this is so-and-so from this company. We're representing Coca, because it's usually an agency. We're the agency that's managing the sweepstakes for Coca-Cola, and you've been selected as a potential winner, and you're always a potential winner until you fill out the release forms correctly and send them back. You're a potential winner, blah, blah, blah. Please find the attached release forms, and sometimes they attach a set of the rules. For this promotion, you have 48 hours or 72 hours or 60 business days or whatever it is to get this back to us, blah, blah, blah. If there's a problem, let us know, da, 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 da. You can call me, and they'll have a little, here's my name, and you can see like a signature. Sometimes you can call them, sometimes you can email them back. So that's how you know. You can tell. So, and read rules, official rules. Rules look like a legal document because rules are a legal and binding contract between the sponsor and the entrant that can be held up in a court of law. And I know it's true because if you watch McMillions, you would see that they used the official rules in the court to prosecute the cheaters. And they're always written in favor of the sponsor. Now, the ones that I find sketchy are the ones that have the worst odds and could possibly sell your data. So for example, every month I give away a free Sweepstakes Masterclass with me. My next one launches tomorrow. It's usually from like the second or third of the month to the middle of the month. So I catch the last newsletter. Oh, PCH. We're going to talk about PCH in a second because that one's actually a bit funny. So the girl that won the class, she was with me, and she was asking me about this one magazine website. She says, they have a ton of giveaways, but I don't have a good feeling about them. Totally legitimate. They are giving away the prizes. There's nothing fake or scammy about them. However, I went to the entry page for one of the giveaways. I'm like, oh, these look pretty good. So I'm going through them, and I do a screen share. I do it in Zoom so I can screen share, and we can learn. I can teach in real time. I've been using Zoom since before Zoom got popular. I've been using it for 6 years now. Anyway, so I'm screen sharing. We're going through it, and I'm like, oh, these are all good prizes. This looks reasonable. I click on one. We go to the entry page. Red flag. They will share your data with third-party companies, which means who knows where it's going to go. And I'm like, I didn't like the way it was written. And I'm like, this isn't cool. So, no. And as for PCH, they do give away the prize. But the odds of winning are so dismal that I think it's 1.6 billion to 1 to win PCH. Now, they have these little giveaways because we have this discussion, and I have something called the Good Vibration Sweepstakes Club, because sweepers don't like to announce their wins to everybody because everybody gives them the stink eye. Oh, you're so lucky, you always win. They don't like to tell anybody. But in the club, everyone goes, woo, congratulations. They're happy for you. Or, oh, I was trying to win one of those. I'm so glad somebody I know won, that kind of thing. And one of the guys that posts a lot, he does really well. His name's Bill, and he comes to our club meetings. We have virtual contest club meetings every month, except for December because it's sweepstakes season and holiday season, and nobody would come to a meeting. So the next one's January 12th. And he was entering, there was some other PCH ones, and he won $5 twice. So you can win from Publishers Clearinghouse. It's just not going to be very big. Just saying. So, yeah, right? I just thought it was so funny when he said, I won from Publishers Clearinghouse, and he showed us a $5 check. Like, you can't help but laugh at that, right? Like, it's just so funny. So there's lots of resources to win. There's lots of people to connect with. I highly recommend, if it's in your budget, come to an annual sweepstakes convention. Yeah, that's what I recommend for. But anyway, it is sweepstakes season day 1. I haven't entered hardly anything today. I did one advent calendar giveaway. But I recommend to do all your regular sweepstakes first and social media ones last. And when you are waiting. So my daughter had a doctor's appointment yesterday. And so I waited in the car, and I just did all my Instagram ones because some of the 24 days of giveaways and that had started early. So I just sat and I entered Instagram giveaways while I waited for her, because I find I know some people love to do it, but I don't like to do it. Again, make the hobby your own. I don't like to enter regular sweepstakes on my phone because I prefer the keyboard and the larger screen. These are progressive glasses. And these are actually my computer glasses. I have another set of glasses for distance and reading, and these are computer and reading, again, at that age. So we don't, anyway, so I sat in the car and just entered Instagram. Oh, here's something. What's going to happen now? Twisted Design. said, I have a hard time finding Instagram contests. Maybe I'm using the wrong keyword. Okay, now here's what's interesting. Because I enter so many giveaways and everybody that I follow enters giveaways. And what happened was the algorithm will start to show you more giveaways. So I have 4 Instagram accounts, one for each business and one personal one I use for entering sweepstakes. My personal one is only sweepstakes. Like, I hardly see anything from anything else. It's because all my friends are entering the sweepstakes and I'm entering sweepstakes, and that's all I see in my feed because the algorithm has learned. So once you start finding them, so if I would go to, I think Sweepstakes Advantage has a special Instagram area, but I think it's in their plus section. I don't know if you can just buy 1 month to try for the plus. And the problem with using hashtag sweepstakes or hashtag giveaway or hashtag contest is there's going to be 1 bazillion of them. But you need to train the algorithm to find, you know what you might want to do? Go to my Facebook, go to either my Facebook or my Instagram, or even join the Good Vibration Sweepstakes Club. Look for my posts that I've done that are called Tagging Tuesdays, where you can find friends to tag. And go find some of them and go follow their feeds. Like, go and look and see if they've entered anything, or start or message them and say, I found you on, this, can I tag, and then you start making those tagging friends, and then you're going to start to see the giveaways come. Also, try searching 12 days of giveaways or 24 days of giveaways right now and see what shows up. And then also check the, just keep looking. The algorithm's going to start to learn and show you. And I did have this tip in my newsletter today, check your Instagram message requests. Congratulations on your win. What did you win from Lay's? BC girl, I did answer this, but you know what? I might have to plug in my phone, but you know what? I do once in a while, and I'm going to come with me. We're going to go to my wallet. So I only play when I feel lucky, and I saw a new, I know it's in the hallway. Let's find it. I bought, someone told me you're supposed to use a coin. Let me see if I can find one. Okay, here we go. Haha. Okay, so I only play when I feel lucky, and I won a free Lotto Max ticket, so I bought that with the Encore. So I got that free, but I paid the $1 for the Encore. And then I had bought a scratch off. I was feeling lucky. And so I bought a Cash for Life because it's got a second chance contest on the bottom. And then I saw this one, and I'm like, you know what? Why not? Arctic Blast. So we can do that. And I may have to move over. You know what? Let's move to the other side of the couch, because this battery's going to die soon, and I don't want it to die while I'm chatting. This is the beauty of the internet. You can just, or the fluidity of something casual. You can just move things as you go. Let's see. I got my, where did my cup of tea go? Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm going to just plug this in. Ha! We're charging. Okay. This is the beauty of doing a casual chat versus a formal live stream where you can't do that stuff. Oh, you can get a month of Sweepstakes Advantage Plus for $10. It says recurring though. You know what? You can always cancel, but I would try it because he does his Instagram in there. And I know there's a girl, Raging Loons, on here. She does a lot of sweepstakes, and she wins a lot from that site. A bag of chips and a sandwich shop kit. Oh my gosh. That's like a doll. Okay, that's kind of fun. I love crazy prizes that you can't buy in the stores. Okay, so let's see. We're going to do, so we got both scratch offs here. So we're going to do Arctic Blast first. I haven't played this one before. So, oh gosh, this is the table that's wiggly. Okay, let me do it on my lap instead. I'll bring over the booklet and use it for a table. That's actually one of my Christmas gift requests, is that George is a carpenter and a woodworker, and I want him to recreate this table like in solid wood so it doesn't get all jiggly. The other thing is download the app for your local lottery on your phone for a couple of reasons. One, depends on the sweepstake, on the lottery, state lottery. There may be a second chance draw. One of my friends wins a ton from second chance draws. And then also check it, because one I didn't think won. I scanned it and it had one. And I won $10, which is what bought all these tickets. Okay, nothing. Let's see. Nothing so far. This is why I don't buy it very often. And I see these people on TikTok, they'll have the camera like pointed down. They'll have it all set up and they'll point it down and they'll show you they're just scratching and they're winning. And I'm like, how much money are you spending for all these winning tickets? Like, and how do you know those are the winners? Like, some people just might have the juju for picking. Nothing. Oh, this is very dismal. It was new. I thought maybe I would win something. Well, I'm not finished yet, so look at that. I've given up before I started. That's not a good attitude. Helen would be very disappointed in me. Oh, so close. I had number 30. I was 31. I hate it when they do that. They do it on purpose, I swear. Oh, 41. I had 47. 36. Come on. I always like to at least win the price of the ticket back. Bubkiss. Oh, and if I'd uncovered a little present, I would win $25. Oh, I think this is done. Yeah, I skirted all the numbers. I'm going to scan it later and check, just in case, because that sometimes happens. Okay, this one has like a ton of games. And people know by ticket number. I find it's better to buy when I feel lucky. People know by ticket number. That's interesting. Yeah, I only do it when I feel lucky. Okay, let's see. Can you imagine if I won something big while everyone was on the screen? That would be amazing. Then I could call Timothy Schultz. Oh, wait, did I just... Oh, let's see. Cross your fingers for $40. No, of course I didn't win the $40. Dang. That would have been good. Can you imagine Cash for Life? This is a good one. Nope, nothing. Bubkiss. That's a good word. Honestly, it's a great word. Okay, this one's long. Game 3. Come on, do I have to, I think I have to match 3, right? 4. Oh, come on, not even $40. $4? Because the ticket's $4. No, nothing. Nothing. Come on, people. Oh, 2 lives. So disappointing. This is why I don't play the lottery. But I will enter the second chance draw. I did buy it because this one had the second chance draw. No, I didn't even win $4. So I took my winnings and blew them on non-winning lottery tickets. I will double check them though, but yeah. And I still have the draw that's tonight. So maybe, what's the most you won? $2,500. As I hit 5 out of 6 numbers. And if I'd had one more number, it would have been 22 million. Yeah. That's not cool. So anyway, Yeah, I think we're going to end with the lottery wins, and I'm going to go actually sit and enter some sweepstakes because I haven't entered in forever. 649. I think it was 649. You know, it's been so long. Lane was like, I don't know, maybe 4. Yeah, she was really little. She was like 4 or 5. I remember we went to the grocery store to get some stuff to take to my grandmother's. So we stopped at her favorite grocery store near her house because she was starting to get where she couldn't always go out. And so we stopped and bought some stuff that she liked. And then on her way out, I'm like, oh, I'll just get the ticket check. So I just handed it to the woman because I don't remember those kiosks. And it went, dee, you know. And she goes, oh, this is too much. I can't give this to you. And I went, what? I was like, what do you mean it's too much? Like, 5 out of 6 numbers. So we went to Lottery Corp and got a check. I think I have a photocopy of it somewhere. As I just wanted to keep a copy of it. Just to show that I'd won. But, yeah, that's the most I've won. And then usually it's the free plays or the $20. One time I found a lottery ticket on the ground and it won me a free play, and then I did the free play and it won $100. So that was pretty good. But yeah, usually I don't win. I did some videos last year where I did the $100. I went and bought the $100 lottery tickets, and George bought a bunch, and I ended up buying a few, and I think we won about half our money back. But they were expensive. But the odds of winning $1 million were 1 in 25,000, which is super low for the lottery. So I may or may not buy another one this year. We'll see. It only takes one to win. And on that note, I'm going to say goodnight and go get in some sweepstakes entries because you can't win if you don't enter, right? So go and find those sweepstakes. And good luck. Bye. Oh, this doesn't want to end.